Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit on bell icon to get the latest updates on QA automation side. Welcome guys. This is your instructor Rahul Shetty. So in this course, we are going to have in-depth discussion on design patterns and best practices for Selenium framework design. So this course is very unique and special in showing you the advanced coding standards for designing industry standard framework. So in general, whenever we talk about frameworks, we always talk about framework supported tools like TestNG, Cucumber, JUnit, reporting, Log4j, etc. Right? That's fine. So to design a framework, you will use all those helper tools to design. But no matter what tech tools you use, ultimately you end up writing code only, right? Even if you choose Cucumber, you have to still write a code. Even if you choose TestNG, you have to end up writing a code. But if you don't write that code in proper way or in the design standards, then you will end up having failure design no matter what framework you use, either TestNG, Cucumber, hybrid, data driven, keyword. There are a lot of framework types, but ultimately you should have a proper coding standard so that your framework would be the more efficient and robust. So here where design patterns comes into picture. So what are design patterns? So in software engineering, a design pattern is a general reusable solution for a commonly occurring problem in your design. So you will run into some problems in your software, right? It could be a framework or it could be any application design, whatever. So what can be the reusable solution so that the problems occurrence will be reduced, and for maintenance also it should be very easier. So that's where design patterns comes into picture, where you design a pattern which will help you to get a solution for your commonly occurred problems. So when you talk about design patterns context in automation framework, you design a framework. So how you write a reusable utilities, how you avoid maintenance issues, like if you change it in one place, that might affect in all other places. Okay, you have to change there as well, right? So in general, people, most of you guys aware of page object model, because that comes under design pattern. So that is not only the design pattern available for framework design. So no matter what tutorial you see, generally people talk about page object, but that is just beginning. That is the base. On top of our page object, there are a lot of design patterns which you can bring to make your automation framework more robust. And this is where now top product based companies are looking for. If you just say page object, then everyone can talk about that. If you talk beyond that point, discussing the other design patterns with the base of page object, then your excel and your knowledge will be showcased. Okay, and if you can bring this kind of innovation in your company, so that will have really edge for you for your performance. And it's just not for your personal purpose, but overall your framework design will be very strong and robust if you use a proper design patterns. Okay, so there are hundreds of design patterns available for Java, but there are few which will nicely suit for automation frameworks. Okay, not every design pattern available in market can be directly used for frameworks, at least test automation frameworks. For UI and backend test automation frameworks, there are some design patterns which will really useful and make your framework more optimized. And those are the patterns I have picked. And not only these, like the design patterns what I am showing here are commonly used in top based companies. So with based upon a lot of research, I have listed down few design patterns which I think that will really helpful for you for framework design. And here are the design patterns which we are going to discuss in this course: single responsibility, strategy, factory, execute around, and screenplay design. Okay, so we will discuss in depth about what are these design patterns more in the upcoming sections. So for a simple glance, Let's say you are working on page object model. Okay, so basically in page object model, all the objects belonging to one page will go to one separate class, right? But if you see here, this is one single page, and here where you have lot of functionality. You can book the flights, you can reserve the hotels, and you can make holiday packages. Everything is in the same page. If you follow page object model, you have to end up writing all these page objects in one single page, because that's what page object says. But there are a lot of functionalities here. So then it will be mess if you have some hundreds of objects sitting in one single class of home page, right? But we will break down using the design patterns, and we will make it more efficient, which we would see in live in upcoming sections. Apart from that, another top-notch selling point for this course is that best practices. Okay, I am going to discuss a lot of best practices, like connecting core automation frameworks to child test frameworks, because in enterprise based companies you will have one framework on higher level. Basically on company level you will have one framework with lot of reusable functions, and each and every project in that company has to have their own framework but inherit all the utilities from the core automation framework which they have on company level, right? But how do you connect your core automation framework, which is the other repository, inside your local project framework with the help of Maven dependencies? This is one of the most important concept that you have to know. We will clearly understand with the live example, and also I will show you how to create snapshot of one project. Here it is core automation, and include it in another project. So these all are some common best practices you will see in real time. Okay, when you do in a real time companies, these all are common practices. And you should also know about one artifactory management tool, and how do you push your artifacts. You create a jar for your frameworks by Maven install, and you have to push that artifacts into any management tools, and JFrog is one of the most important artifact. So if you are already working in any project, you will definitely know about this artifactory management tools. Like there are some other tools like Nexus, and all this comes under artifactory management tools. Okay, so your framework snapshots also will present there. You might be not knowing that. So if you are a junior software engineer or entry level or mid level software engineer, you will only focus on writing test, but back end there will be a lot of things where your framework code will go based upon snapshots. Okay, only the test architects or the people who designed it will be knowing that, but I will go through everything here. And I will also show how to implement continuous integration. Like whenever you make any code change in your framework, for every change you will have one webhook from GitHub, so that Jenkins will run all the test cases for every change what you make in your page object classes. This is very, very important to maintain a bug-free framework for all test cases. We will do it automatically with an automation of continuous integration with GitHub and Jenkins integration, right? And I'll also show some tips like how to implement hash map mechanism for data driven testing. This is one of the newest way to handle data driven testing. I really like that, and that will be more efficient than what all data driven testings we are doing until date, right? So overall, I'm going to show the design patterns to write a best coding standards for your framework, and as well as best practices what companies follow in maintaining the framework. So all these we are going to discuss in this course. So ideally, if you are aiming for test architect or some senior level positions, and you should know all these so that you can talk smart in your interview and you can clear that with your efficiency. And if you are already working in a company, if you go and implement all these in your project, then you will have real edge for your performance. Let's get started with our first design patterns of single responsibility design pattern, which is SRP. So for demonstration purpose, I will be using IntelliJ editor for this entire course. So you know that Eclipse is one of the editor which is used to write Java code, and there is another competitive editor which is IntelliJ, which is also very cool to build the code. So in this course, I will be showing the IntelliJ and will be writing the all code with IntelliJ. So if you are not aware or if you have not done any Java coding till now in IntelliJ, don't worry. With this course, you will be getting very familiar with this tool as well, right? So let's get started. IntelliJ download. So you can go to their official website, download IntelliJ IDEA. So there are two editions available here. One is community and one is a professional edition. So you can go ahead and download this open source community version. Okay. So you will have some extra features with professional ultimate version, but that's not required for us. You can just get started with this. So once you download and you can open this IntelliJ, I have already downloaded it earlier, so I will directly open it. IntelliJ IDEA. So you can get started with file, new project. One second. So new project, and you will see something screen like this. So here we want to select a Maven related project. So we will be using Maven dependencies to get started. So select Maven and then you can directly select quick start. There is one archetype called quick start. So let's select this. So before that, make sure you select create from archetype. So let's select quick start template to create the Maven project. Next, and you can give the name for your project, design patterns. So but before that, make sure you also have Maven in your system. If you don't know how to download Maven, so then it's very easy that you can just go and just say download Maven, and that will take you to their official website. So from here, if you are in Windows, then you can download this zip file, and if you are in Mac, you can download this zip file, right? And set it in environment variables path, the Maven home, and that way Maven will be also in your system, right? So here we have selected a Maven project, which is a quick start template. So when you expand this, group ID, artifact ID, version, these are the three different parameters we have here. So when you create a Maven project, it's mandatory that you have to provide all these details. So let's change this. Group ID we can give as our company domain, which is Rahul Shetty Academy. So you can read here the name of the artifact group, usually a company domain, and artifact ID. So this is like usually a project name. So in our case, it's a design patterns, and group ID Rahul Shetty Academy. And this is our first version of building the code, right? So give all these details, and here you will give the location where exactly your code is present. And next, so these are the final details. So when you download Maven in your system, then you have to give the automatically repository path, settings path. By default, IntelliJ will collect that if you have already Maven present in your system. If not, you have to point them. So what I suggest is, before opening this editor, just first download the Maven, have it in your environment variables path, Maven home, and then you can set these here. So if you don't know how to set a Maven, then watch out this video. You will get the information about it. Okay, and then these things will automatically pre-populate, and click on finish, and that's it. So you will have one new screen open like this. You can close this information, right? So you can see that a design patterns, a project is created, and this is a source folder, and automatically all the common template of Maven is ready in your system. Now you have main, where you have project package name called Rahul Shetty Academy, and test, and here also you have,
and you have also pom.xml ready with all the basic dependencies what you need for your project. So select Maven compiler 1.8. 1.7 is the too old. Right. So this is how you can set up your basic Maven project in IntelliJ editor. From the next lecture, let's see how to bring that design pattern into this project, which will be very interesting. All right. Thank you.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit on bell icon to get the latest updates on QA automation side.